Baltimore and Wild, and Howard Bank is sponsoring all that we're doing, as well as Royal Farms, Real Fresh, Real Fast, and the Maryland Jockey Club. Love this guy. Every year we get him on. Every year he comes back. Every year we talk about crab cakes. Every year you talk about Baltimore. Doug Flutie joining us here live via satellite. What's going on, man? How are you?
10 below.
10 below. 10 below.
10 below.
10 below.
It's actually 8 right
10
now.
below.
All right. Well, it's warm. Heat wave.
You woke up in an hour.
I played a game in minus 24 in Calgary that became minus 44 by the end of the game with a minus 85 wind chill.
Dude, you played the Canadian football.
Minus
How many years you grew up
85
there?
wind chill.
How many years?
8 years in Canada.
So that's
Not a single crab cake in Canada.
You're just telling me. You're just telling me about the worst day, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, they're all awful. I mean, once it gets below 15, it's awful.
You would get one nasty weather game a year. One, for the most part, the season runs parallel to the NFL, maybe a month or two earlier.
Right.
So you finish up around Thanksgiving, and by the end of the season, you would just get that one nasty sub-zero day, and you just dealt with it. But for the most part, you had decent weather to play, and it wasn't that bad.
Practice sometimes, probably
practice,
late in the
yes,
season.
absolutely. Practices were a nightmare sometimes.
But some of the like Regina is probably the worst. The plains above here is the worst.
It's just the wind. Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, the wind would just come howling through. Portage in Maine is the corner of Winnipeg. It's supposed to be the windiest corner in the world. And
I did not. You're teaching me things. Where's this again? I'm going to
I'm
Google
all
this.
about knowledge.
What is this?
Portage in Maine and Winnipeg. The
okay.
avenue.
All right. Good. I've never been to Winnipeg.
I won't disrespect
No.
anybody.
Listen, I'm going to Winnipeg for a hockey game at some point.
Yes.
I'm going to do 30 rinks in 30 days. I'm going to do it.
You fly into, I think it's Saskatchewan. It's either Saskatchewan or Winnipeg. You fly in, and there's a golf course right next to the airport. And they have black greens, and it's black sand-packed greens because they can't grow grass.
It's like Bali.
So it's a hard-packed sand, and you pedal. I've never played on it, but I see it every time we flew in there.
I'm just having memories of the old Baltimore Stallions now. Talking
there
about
you
the
go,
CFL.
Baltimore Stallions. Played at all Baltimore Memorial Stadium. That was such a thrill for me because as a kid, my first NFL game, I watched Johnny Unitas play in Baltimore Memorial Stadium.
Who did they play? What year? Give me a year.
Jets.
How old are you now?
It's got to be around 1968-ish.
Oh, wow. My first game was at Jets, too, but it was 73.
You could not sit any higher. I think it was in the last row at the top of the stadium.
Which is still the middle deck of a new stadium
now,
I guess
so.
When you Doug Flutie joining us here. On behalf of Epson, you've been here for Epson last year. I'll tell you this. I had printing problems last week. My printer went up. So, I mean, I got to stand in the aisle and pick.
Oh, talk to my peeps right here. They're with me. So, Epson printers, Epson home office supplies. I am a small business owner, have a restaurant, have our foundation, and you're always looking for ways to cut some corners and save some money. And if you can do things in-house without sacrificing quality, that's what Epson's all about.
Whoa. Flutie Restaurant? Where's this?
I
travel.
Plain Ridge Park Casino near Foxborough in Plain Ridge,
I don't go there. I ain't going anywhere near there.
Yep.
Especially in January.
So anyway, basically do all your printing in-house. The fun thing to talk about is we talk about the EcoTank system, which is for your ink. You don't have cartridges. So the biggest pain in the neck in your office, you go over to print something out.
All right.
All right, you're out of ink.
No one listens to the show.
And you don't want to replace the ink cartridge, so you walk away and let somebody else do it. Anyway, the EcoTank system can last up to 2 years without replacing the ink cartridge.
Well, my wife would like that because she replaces all of our ink cartridges.
I got no idea how to do it.
She's technical. These hands don't touch.
I got no idea how to do it myself, so that's why it works for me, because after 2 years, instead of replacing the ink, I just buy a new one.
50 years, these hands have never done a bit of work at all, at all. Doug Flutie joining us here. All the years out of the league and the quarterback thing, and Nick Foles on one side and Tom Brady on the other, everywhere in here. That's a hard concept if you're a Vegas guy to say, I'm going to bet against Tom Brady no matter who it is at this point, right?
I say that I may know nothing about the NFL and know nothing about the matchups, and I get asked about, I'd never bet against Tom Brady. I've been around Tom.
Some people would say that about Doug Flutie.
Well,
you beat our ass once or twice in a Bills uniform. I'm still upset with you about it.
You're welcome. I marvel at what Tom does. It just amazes me, and it never. And the other aspect of the New England comebacks is their second half defense. They make adjustments at halftime and shut people down. Think of last year's Atlanta Super Bowl game, the game against Atlanta, a couple weeks ago against Jacksonville. In the first half of those games, you didn't think they'd ever stop. They were walking the ball up and down the field, and all of a sudden the second half it comes to a halt. Even at the end of the game last year, the Patriots had to punt, and had to rely on the defense to get the ball back one more time, pinned them deep, got the ball, actually had a good return and ended up doing it. But they just, every aspect of the game, that's no stone unturned. And they're not the most talented team in the NFL.
I agree with
they
that.
Just,
Sure,
they know how to win, and they're meticulous about it.
Don't make mistakes. Well coached. They always have the best strategy. Then it's about execution, and sometimes you get beat. Sometimes they don't have the best players.
Well, I got a little nervous for them the last game because you could see it coming in the fourth quarter, and they run that double pass throwback and gain like 20, 30 yards off, and then fumble at the end of it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, there's only 13 minutes left. You're still down by 2 scores, and you don't have the ball anymore. So that kind of threw the wrench into the comeback, but they still managed to do it.
But then what? Jacksonville went 3 and out right after that.
Yeah. And
if they had moved down the field, then you're thinking.
But did you see Jacksonville moving the ball in the first half?
Oh,
didn't look like 3 and out was ever in your mind.
And they did a nice job on the perimeter in the second half. I think they were a little too conservative at times, but New England, like you said, the halftime adjustment thing. Us radio guys and media people, we talk about that all the time. And in most cases, it tends to be a little overrated.
There's 12 minutes in there, and everybody's just going to the bathroom and getting back out of the field.
New England
but here's
does.
the difference. New England has a first-half game plan and a second-half game plan. And Bill will not show you things in the first half that he is going to do in the second half, and he knows it. And makes you adjust. That's why it'd be very interesting to see how Nick Foles plays in the second half of this game. The first half, you're running your best plays, the stuff you've worked on all week to design to attack certain looks, and the stuff you're really comfortable with, and you get your first 12 plays selected, and you can think those over. Right. So everybody wants to get off to a quick start, but it's easier to get off to a decent start. Although the emotion goes into that too.
Sure.
You don't want to be too hyped up about this game. But then when you get into the game and you start seeing new looks and different things, you get to the sideline, you talk about newer things, that's when the veteran quarterback has an edge.
Doug Flutie joining us here on behalf of Epson. We're on Radio Row. All of our coverage brought to you by our friends at Howard Bank and Royal Farms. Momentum is a real thing. I mean, you talked about last year, and I think – the fans feel it. You feel it in the stadium a little bit. But there's something, even in our Super Bowl 5 years ago now, so we could talk about that, the lights went out, right? I mean, legendarily, I don't know how the hell you make this stuff up, but the lights went out, and it changed everything about that game.
It gives that particular gives the other team a chance to regroup and get together, pull it back together, and settle. When you talk
like
about
a standing 8.
Yeah. when you have momentum going against you, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and it's impossible to get a first down. It's impossible to complete a pass. It's like, what the heck is going on?
You watch the Ravens offense this year.
Somebody's right. It just feels that way. Then you get a reset button of something like a extended injury timeout or whatever it might be, and it all comes back into focus. It's just football. It's just executing a play. Let's go back, in that all those pillars of weight that have been sitting there start to disappear, and you go back to thinking straight. That's why being mentally tough is so important in this game. It's what Tom had, to forget about mistakes and move on, move forward, and press forward. And there's a mental toughness that people don't understand that comes with dealing with adversity.
Well, that's what you're about. I mean, that's why you're still here at your size, built like me, having played in 2 leagues. And I guess for Ray Lewis, he's going to Hall of Fame this week. There's this other thing about what he had. You played against him. We're asking everyone who ever played against him to sit here. Most guys in your chair on the offensive side would say, about as good as I've ever seen. And then there's the guys like Rod Woodson that played with him that would say the same thing on the other side of the ball.
You played Baltimore's defense back then, especially. They're coming at you from every angle with all these blitzes and everything else, and nothing is clean in that game. Nothing is clean. So I wind up scrambling a handful more times than usual when we played Baltimore. And you would see a crease open, and you'd take off, and you think, this is a first down. This is an 8 to 12-yard gain. Bang, Ray Lewis, out of nowhere, closes the gap, 2-yard gain. Or catches you at the line of scrimmage. I made him miss once. And
you watch it again and again.
It was like a fourth.
It's in his highlights. Career highlights.
It was like a 4th and 15 or something. Game was on the line, and I broke out. And maybe they were playing deeper than you. He didn't get to me in time. I got by him and got the first down, and we go down and win that game. One time in all the times we played each other, and seeing Ray close the gap, you thought
That was a young Ray. That was
yeah.
Memorial State. That's 97, 98, right?
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah,
98.
yeah.
98.
I remember
that. I had a horrible game. I threw some interceptions.
We stunk.
We threw for nothing.
Yeah, we were
Yeah, your
5-15.
offense wasn't doing anything, and it kept us in the game. And finally, we did something at the end to win it.
Doug Flutie joining us here on behalf of Epson. What else are you doing? I mean, I know you do college football, and that was a great year again, right? But much like Tom Brady, I don't know who's going to stop Alabama, right? That's a whole different level.
Yeah, I cover Notre Dame football for NBC, and it's just been a joy to do. I've got a great group of people that I work with, and being around college football, I love it. It's fun for me. I'm not in a hurry to work 24/7 all year round, so I work hard.
Is that why you didn't coach?
I work hard in the
You would have
fall.
been a hell of a college football coach.
I've seen the coaching job.
Not for
and
you.
you can keep it. These guys, I love the idea. I go to camps. My brother coaches some high school football on the side, and I go down and help them out once in a while, and I'm around it. I don't want the full-time commitment, especially at a college or pro level. You don't see your family. You're sleeping in the office, and when you have days off in college, you're out on the road recruiting. I want my life. I love football. I love being around it. I love having an effect on the young kids and being able to be a part of it. I do that locally now with Little League Baseball and Pop Warner programs. And actually, I'm an official ocean rescue lifeguard. I train the kids. I'm all about the comp. There's a lifeguard competition that comes up in July every year, and I'm all about training the kids towards that competition.
You look good, man. You look like you're happy. You really do.
I'm enjoying myself. I try not to take the work end of it too seriously and keep my free time and hanging at the beach. And, when I do that.
Hanging at the beach. You mentioned that last.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
When I have that, I like surf every morning. My buddies are giving me a hard time because the waves were nice yesterday and today and, sending me
Where's
pictures.
this?
Down in Melbourne Beach, Florida.
Good for you.
And, I enjoy that.
Spring training around the corner?
We start driving over to Fort Myers, and we're Red Sox nuts. We're
Ah,
my wife.
yeah.
My wife. By
Well,
the way,
it's been nice having you,
It's been
Doug.
nice
Good
talking
to
to you.
see you, Doug.
Orioles.
Good to see you.
See,
Doug.
I grew. My parents being from Baltimore,
Baseball
we grew
people.
up Orioles
Right,
fans,
right.
right? 420 game winners.
I know all that.
Jim Palmer, Mike Cuellar, Dave McNally, Pat Dobson, blah blah blah. I'm an Orioles nut as a kid. And then I've been around the Boston area so long, and you get to meet the guys that are actually playing on the team, and it's more than rooting for the laundry. It's rooting for the guys you know. So I became a Red Sox fan. But my wife she's head-to-toe Patriots gear this week, and as soon as pitchers and catchers show up, she's head-to-toe Red Sox gear.
Let me tell you about the Red Sox. My wife's had cancer twice, two-time leukemia survivor. After the first time, we did 30 ballparks in 30 days, one of my dreams, for the Bone Marrow Registry. And I reached out to every team in the league, and some teams said, no thanks. Some teams said, here's a table and here's tickets and a press pass. Some teams said, which celebrity are you bringing? So we had everything was different. The Red Sox honored my wife on the field before the game because she's a Red Sox fan. She grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire. All of her family Red Sox fans. We swabbed people. We actually saved a life that day. One of our swabs from Fenway Park saved a life. So how about that?
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that was 2.5. That was almost 3 years ago now. So I have these pictures on the field. I'm wearing a Red Sox jersey and a cap, which is against my religion other than the Aparicio-ness.
Yeah.
My first team was the Red Sox because Luis in 1973 was playing for the Red Sox, so that's all I knew when I was 4 years old. But the Red Sox were good. Larry Lucchino's a two-time survivor, and he was still the president of the team then. So good people up there.
They really have
people.
embraced the Red Sox fans, but fans in general, and made it such a fan-friendly ballpark, and
It's
opened it
Fenway
up
Park.
early, and the whole thing. And it's been great. We've been season ticket holders for years, and now
the Orioles have done nothing to recruit you back at this point. So
I tell you,
sadly,
Yeah, pretty much.
both my brothers and all their kids are still diehard. They've been living in Boston as long as I have. Still diehard Orioles fans. I get text messages every time the Orioles are winning. I hear about it.
Really?
It's
that's
still
not going to be often moving forward.
The last 5 or 6 years, not so bad, but
it's
not looking good for the future.
Can you pitch? I mean, at all?
I just threw 9 innings Tuesday night.
Forget Melbourne. We need you over in Sarasota.
Dan Duquette, who used to be the Red Sox GM, will probably be sending you a text
I know
message
Dan
shortly.
very well. He and my brother Bill are actually very close.
Can you throw left-handed?
I wish. Then you could pitch every other day. It's like, hey, left-handed, this one, never.
You've done everything else. I figure you might be ambidextrous too.
Yeah, I'm pitching against old guys, though. I'm throwing old man baseball. It's like 35 and over. Tim Wakefield taught me how to throw a knuckleball.
How's that going
Nice.
for you?
Well, we played in the tournament, and usually for my age bracket, I can still throw pretty hard. And we run into this team that scored 18 runs a game. They're all a bunch of former minor leaguers, all big guys that can really hit. and I just started throwing knuckleballs. We still lost 5-2. But it was a blast. I did nothing but throw knuckleballs.
Watching them look stupid was great.
A couple guys crushed it.
Who was your catcher? That's him.
Who?
How are his knuckles today?
Guy Mike Settles. Yeah, just a good buddy. Just a good buddy that could catch
little bruised up, maybe a little bit.
The all-time landmark moment, trophy moment for a knuckleball pitcher is the swing and the miss, and the catcher still didn't catch it, and it goes to the backstop.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, okay, I don't care that he struck out and still got the first. That's like the all-time.
You have no idea where it's going.
Oh,
I'm so jealous because anyone who grew up playing baseball, at some point you had some phase where you thought, you know what? I might be able to make the majors as a knuckleball pitcher.
The hardest thing once you get the feel for it and can take the spin off the ball and make it move a little, is throwing it for strikes.
Right.
And and there's good days of it. Like that day, it was the best it's ever been. And other days, I hit 2 batters with it, and I quit throwing it, and it's done because you can't control it.
Yeah, Mike Messina, in his prime, because he threw a knuckle curve, he always played around with a knuckleball. And his joke was, when it's all over and I got trash, it'll give me 3 more years. Well, I mean, he made $150 million. He just didn't want to do it anymore.
I think he did
Who's the base coaches? Yeah. Base coaches for the Orioles? Kirby?
Wayne Kirby's at first base.
Wayne Kirby has one of the best knuckleballs I've ever seen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You just opened up a conversation for
Kirby's
Lucas.
A character, too.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug, pleasure.
Hey,
here for Epson, go see Doug Flutie, and when you're in Foxborough, and I don't recommend that, go to his place. How about that? Is that good?
Sounds
there
good.
There it is. Doug Flutie, Baltimore Oriole fan, deposed Oriole fan. He's waiting for the return, I guess, at this point. Go see you next year. Doug Flutie joining us here. It's all brought to you by Howard Bank, as well as Royal Farms, real fresh, real fast. Fried chicken, you get $10 off 50 pieces of chicken if you're having a party this weekend, but you got to do it on the app. All the details up at Rofo, and we'll be sending that out as well. Also brought to you by our friends at let's see. I want to go through all of our sponsors right now. D&L Window Tinting, because the sun's about to come out here at the Mall of America. 27 years now, tinting everything. Cars, boats, businesses. This is a business. Maybe they could put tinting on the windows up here to keep it out of our eyes. If you've seen our videos here, it's been a little wacky. D&L Window Tinting, White Marsh, and Parkville. Also brought to you by our friends at Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Choose the right lender. It is a Freedmont Mortgage. Buying, selling, refinancing. Just need some education. Go out there to Freedmont.com. Luke, are you happy?
Absolutely.
All right. Just making sure Doug Flutie
Flutie, I mean,
I love sitting here talking to Doug Flutie.
I mean, my goodness.
That doesn't suck.
Look, I mean, anyone listening right now.
It's been the best week of radio we've ever done, dude.
Anyone listening right now
I'm not lying.
Who loves sports, we love underdogs. I mean, Doug Flutie epitomizes
I love
that.
anybody under 6 feet tall. I mean, that's part of my deal. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. The buyatoyota.com audio vault is thumping. I know because I did it myself. Go on up there and check that out. You can listen to anything we've done here. You can find us on YouTube, our Facebook Live, and, of course, 24 hours a day where we never stop talking Baltimore sports.